Namaste. Welcome to your yoga practice, your sadhana, your spiritual journey. Today we're going to be opening and working the front line of the body. And you can begin kind of sitting in virasana so that you start soliciting that front line, meaning sit on your knees and separate your feet, place a block underneath your buttocks between your feet, and make sure that as you spread your toes that the top of the feet are on the floor and that from the center of your knees to the base of your second toe that those lines are straight. Now the front line of the body is exactly as it sounds. It's the front of the body. So from the top of the feet, the front of the legs, all the way to the front of the hips. And then the top portion of that goes from the pubic bone up through the abdominal wall and the chest, and it wraps around the neck, the side, it goes through the sides of the neck and wraps around the back of the head, the skull. And we'll be working this by doing some abdominal work to kind of create an integrity through the front of the body, kind of awaken it, and then also back bends to stretch it out. The quality that we'll be working with today is the quality of courage. Now, courage was always kind of one of these strange words to me. The first time I heard it was in 2012 when I went to India for the first time. I went for several weeks and I stayed and I went by myself. I went backpacking. This was the first kind of major trip that I've done by myself in a very foreign country. And when I came back, people were like, whoa, you went by yourself, you're so courageous. And it was very strange for me to hear that word because I didn't feel like I was doing something extravagant or over the top or outside of what I felt was normal. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that the reason I was able to be courageous, as people put it, was because I felt I had a calling. I felt that there was something greater that was pulling me, drawing me to India. And that basically all I was doing was responding to that calling. So for me, it was a natural instinct to go to India. And I think that this, for me, courage is being able to take action and be authentic with our action, to feel like it's second nature, to feel like as we're expressing ourselves from a very natural place. But that expression connects to something greater, a greater calling or a greater knowing of who we are. And in the yoga practice, we can see these two types of practices that emerge, or at least I have experienced this. On the one side is this deep study of what is more. Where does this calling come from? What is our infinite nature? What is the self, the big self, the greater self, the universal self? What is that? And we can investigate it through reading scriptures that were written by the yogic sages and gurus. We can sit with the emptiness or the vastness of our infinite potential through meditation. We can contemplate it as we're moving through our bodies and just kind of like feel the breath and feel that spaciousness between the breaths. So there's many practices, many ways that we can investigate that infinite nature. The difficult part though, so I would say that that's the easy part. The easy part is to read a scripture, to read a book that explains what this is all about. The difficult part is to integrate it into our everyday life. not just to integrate it, but to integrate it in an authentic way, to actually feel like we're living the teachings. And so courage is about living the teachings. First, we need to have an idea of what we are living, that there's something greater supporting us. And then second, it's to vibrantly radiate that knowing in the best way that we know how today. As we progress on our journey, that expression or the integration of what we know from what we've read and what we've studied about ourselves will get stronger and will become more and more authentic. We won't feel that we're searching so much. And but we have to still start somewhere. So if our courage so what I invite you to do is to kind of allow what you already know about your infinite potential, allow that to support you in your practice, and courageously express that, courageously radiate that knowledge through your yoga postures as brilliantly as you can today. So take a comfortable seat, bring your hands together in front of your heart, lift from the sides of your body, lift your heart and take the upper palate back, keep the chin close towards the throat, roll your shoulders back and feel the lift of the inner body, the lift of the base of your heart as it rises up towards your thumbs. Close your eyes. Take a few breaths, recognizing your courageous self, unfolding from the knowledge that you've accumulated thus far in your yoga practice, in your life practice. And allow that knowledge to unfold itself through your asanas, through your expression, through the expression of your body and your expression of how you live your life, as best as you can. Again, remembering that we are human, that our limitations will sometimes get the best of us, but that even our limitations can be expressions of that great knowing. So embrace all of who you are, courageously, boldly, bravely, and let's open the practice with 3 sounds of Om. Take a deep breath in. Release your hands and open your eyes. So come to your stomach, straighten your legs, and as you straighten your legs, bring your legs closer together and squeeze, press your toes down and squeeze around the knees. So you're engaging the front of the legs. Place your hands beside your lower ribs in preparation for Cobra. Take your feet now hip distance apart. Keep pressing your feet down, your toes down. Inhale, lengthen the front of your body and lift up. Lift up just halfway, keeping your thighs down. Feel the stretch in the front of the body, the action in the front of the legs. And then exhale to come back down. Inhale, lift from the back of your body to open the front of your body. And then as you exhale, release back down. So the back of the body is indicative of all that we know thus far. So inhaling into the back to curl up Make sure you lift the back of your neck. So chin to chest, lift the back of your neck. And then from there, draw the chin in and open. Feel how that opens the chest. And as you press the back of your head towards the back wall, roll your shoulder blades down the back and lift the heart up. Exhale, come back down. Once again, inhale, keeping the back of the neck long, lift, rising up. And from that deep knowing of who you are, all of the knowledge that you've accumulated through your readings, through your practice, through your life journey, start to open and let that shine out as an expression of who you are. And then come back down. Curl your toes under and lift onto all fours. Walk your knees underneath your hips. Spread your fingers so that they shine out from the center of your palms, and keep your wrists parallel to the front edge of your mat. Exhale your breath and hug the navel in towards the spine, contracting the front of the body, but opening the back of the body. Inhale the reverse now. Move your pubic bone away from the belly and open the chest. Exhale, round the back. Inhale, arch the back, open the front of the body. Feel the stretch from the pubic bone moving away from the chest, and the chest moving away from the pubic bone. And then exhale, bring those 2 points closer together. Keep going, inhaling, exhaling. One more time. Good. And now we're going to continue that movement, but reach your right leg back, lengthen through the sides of your body, reach your left arm forward, and stretch. Inhale here, and then exhale, bring your elbow to your knee. Inhale, reach. Exhale, elbow to knee. Draw the belly button in. Inhale, reach. Elbow to knee. Inhale, reach. And lower down. Second side. Lengthen your left leg back. Lift your right arm up. Stretch out from the center of your pelvis in all directions. Breathe into the back of your body. And then exhale, bring your elbow to your knee. Navel to the back. Inhale, reach, stretching the front line, back line. Exhale, contract the front of your body. Inhale, so we're creating integration here. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale and reach. Exhale and release. Take your knees a little wider and start to circle the hips. Just releasing any tension in the hips. Other direction. And come back to center, knees underneath your hips. Stretch your right leg back and over to the left. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Lift your right hip as high as your left and look over your left shoulder. Breathe into the side of the body. Start to feel the stretch, not just through the side of the body, but also a little bit in the front of your thigh. The front of the thigh, the front of your hip bone, the front hip bone is like moving away from the front of your thigh. Come back to center. Stretch your left leg back over to the right and look over your right shoulder. Keep the lift of your left hip. And you can even notice, like, lower the left hip and then lift the left hip and just feel a little subtle stretch on the front of your hip. Draw the lower belly in and stretch the side of the body. So there's going to be some poses that will touch on the other angles of the body, the other lines of the body. But even as we might feel the intensity in the side of the body, can you notice what's happening in the front of the body? Inhale and come back to center. Walk your knees back behind your hips, tuck your toes, and lift into downward facing dog. Find your breath, breathing through your nose. Bring your chin to your chest and push your chest towards your chin. And then engage from your hands all the way up into your upper back, from your legs into your pelvis. And then from your upper back, press out in all directions. So you press from your heart out to your hands and extend from the heart through the pelvis and down through the legs. Now realign your head so that your ears are between your arms. Bring your feet together in downward facing dog. Inhale and lift your right leg up, opening the front of the body. Twist to your right and bend your top knee. Bend the top knee, but also bend the bottom knee slightly. Make sure your bottom knee is not turning to the right. Squeeze the left buttock in and then twist. Feel the opening of the front of your body as you bend your knee and open the chest. Look underneath your right arm. Inhale, bring your right foot forward between your hands into a low lunge. Keep the back knee bent. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale and sit deeper into the front hip. Now lift your back knee and we'll just stretch the back of the body a little bit because we're going to be contracting the back a lot, relying on it a lot to open the front of the body. We want to just make sure that the back of the body is kind of warmed up, prepared. So straighten the legs as much as possible. You might need to take blocks underneath your hands. Keep the hips parallel to the front edge of your mat. Inhale into the back of the body, and then exhale, lower your back knee and open the front of the body. Inhaling into the back, exhaling into the front, inhaling into the back, exhaling into the front, and come back to center. Take downward facing dog. So you might notice there the breath was reversed. Our intention is a bit different there. So we really want to bring the breath into the back of the body. And that's why we reverse the breath. Take your feet together, second side now. Inhale, lift your left leg and twist. Turn your belly to the left. Bend your top knee. Feel the stretch on the front of the body. But again, remember, still connect to what you know. So we don't want to just kind of jump off the ledge without our bungee cord. Our bungee cord is what we know to be true. So breathe into the back of the body, and then from that vastness in the back, open the front. So courageously from your heart, press into your hands and open the front of the thigh and the top. Bend your bottom knee so you make sure that that knee is not twisting to the left. Good, and then step your left foot forward. Lower your knee. Turn your inner thighs back so that as you're lunging, it's the front of your thigh and not the inner thigh that's getting stretched. Now, inhale and straighten your legs. Puff up the back, and then exhale, bring your knee down and just gentle opening of the front. Inhale, straighten your legs. Exhale, expressing out. Inhale, drawing into what you already know to be true about yourself. Exhale, letting that shine. And then bring your hands back down and step back into downward dog. Inhale, forward into plank. Exhale, down to the belly. Top of the feet down. Inhale, draw from your pubic bone up through the front of your chest. Tailbone extends down to your heels. Make sure you don't drop the head, as is often done in yoga classes. So we want to make sure we lengthen the back of the neck and we maintain the integrity. It's going to be harder, but you're actually going to work deeper into the tissues. Exhale, downward facing dog. And you'll also save your neck from a chiro visit Bend your knees. Inhale, stepward, lightly hop forward. Exhale and fold. Make sure your feet are hip distance apart and parallel. Hip distance apart and parallel. Bring the weight, shift the weight over the front of the ankles and towards the toes. And keeping the back of the knees soft. Inhale, tone the abdomen and rise up. Draw the pubic bone up with you. Exhale, hands to the heart. Take your left foot back. Left foot back. Heel to the floor. Inhale, hands to your hips and root down through your hips. So press with your hands, push your hips down, but engage your legs up. Lengthen the sides of your body. And then from the steadiness of your back leg, bend your front knee. The heel might lift depending on how tight you are in the calf muscle. Don't worry about that. Just try to bring the foot down as much as you can. And more important than that, turn your left inner thigh back so that you're opening the front of the hip. Inhale, lift your arms straight up. Draw the front of your ribs in, just like we did in our abdominal work, belly button towards the back. So the ribs are not popping forward. Draw the ribs in. Breathe into the fullness of your back. And then from that fullness, courageously start to express, open the heart. And there's a certain level of bravery that it takes to be ourselves, right? I know myself is who I am, and I can express that out courageously, boldly. Bring your hands down and step forward. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, come back up. And step your right foot back. Heel to the floor. Feet are on separate tracks here. Unless you're more advanced, you can go heel to heel. Turn your right inner thigh back. Lift your lower belly up to begin that drawing in of the drawing up of the front line. And then as you exhale, keep the legs strong and press through both legs, lowering your pelvis. Bring the front of the ribs in so that you fill the back space of your body, and then open the heart from that vastness in your upper back, from the vastness of your lower back. From the center of your pelvis, extend long through your legs, through the back leg, through the front leg, and lengthen up into the opening of your heart and the reaching of your arms. As you exhale, release your hands down, step forward. Hands to hips as you exhale. Inhale, shoulders back, come up. Take a wide stance, turn your toes to the right. Inhale, lift your arms, align heel to arch. Left toes turn in so your foot's parallel to the outer edge of your mat. And then as you exhale, bend your right knee. Bend the right knee over the front of the ankle so that your thigh, your hip crease deepens and the thigh lowers down. Press into your feet, turn your left thumb down, wrap it around your waist as if you're gonna grab your right thigh. If you can grab your right thigh, you can hold it open. Right palm up. Inhale, revolve warrior, opening the front side of the body. Keep the front of your left thigh back, inner thigh back, and then draw your tailbone down to lift the pubic bone up. Inhale and straighten your leg. Keep your wrap of your arm, and then reach over your right leg and bring your hand to your shin or fingertips to the floor. Inhale, the sides of the body long. Turn from your right buttock turning under, turn your belly up towards the sky. If your belly's facing down, it's perhaps because your hand is not high enough. So turn the belly. Remembering that the front line in the upper body begins in the pubic bone. Turn the pubic bone up. And then to complete the opening, take the upper palate back, so the back of your neck is long, and then start to unfold the arm, rolling the shoulder back. Inhale to stand. Exhale, release your arms, turn your right toes in. Left toes out, align heel to arch. Warrior two. Inhale with strong legs, open your arms. Open into the vastness that you are. So we remember that the knowledge, everything that we've heard, all the Facebook quotes, inspirational quotes that you've read, that you said, "Ah, yes, this is inspiring." And then you turn your computer off and you forget about it. So draw from that knowledge, that inspiration. Draw from that, and then find your unique expression. Bend your left knee. How do you want to express all the different quotes that you've read on Facebook? Take your right arm, wrap it around. Left hand, inhale, open the front of the body, lean back. Keep the back body full, tailbone long, moving down towards the floor. Bend your front knee. So you bend your front knee by hugging the leg and taking your left buttock away from your lower back. Left buttock hugs underneath you. And from the pubic bone, reach up. It's like a bold affirmation. And then inhale to lift. Keep the wrap of your arms, straight legs. Triangle pose. Belly turns to the right. Reach over and bring your hand down to your shin. And if you can keep the front of your body facing out, you can bring your fingertips down to the floor, to a block. Inhale, the sides of the body long. Breathe into your lower back, puff it out. And then taking your upper palate back, draw into the upper back, remembering what you know to be true. And then from that truth, from your knowledge, not anybody else's, yours, your experience of life, start to express your true authentic self. Courageously reach your arm up, roll the shoulder back, and reveal your own bravery to be yourself. This is who I am. This is who I am. Inhale and come up. Exhale, feet parallel. Walk your feet closer together. Sit in with the feet hip distance apart. Sit in Utkatasana. Make sure that your knees don't collapse in and they don't go wider than your ankles. So really be disciplined here in the hips and the thighs to keep the knees over the ankles. If you feel any twisting in the knees, it means that your hips are not doing anything. So move your inner thighs back. So overcome the habits that kind of keep us trapped in our limited view of ourselves and draw upon that greater definition. So from here, lower belly up. Take your left leg across your right and sit. Place your hand on your foot, the other one on your knee. Push onto the sole of your foot. Push the foot into your hand to open the hip. And then sit down deeper, deeper, deeper. You can stay here or bring your left hand to the floor. Keep rolling that left knee down, left thigh down rather. And then inhale, release. Second side, sit in Utkatasana. Again, discipline in the legs. Right ankle over your left. Like you're playing an accordion, hold your knee and your foot. Push the foot into your hand. Hand into the foot. Make sure your toes are active, so it's a strong leg here. Inhale the sides of the body long, and then lift the belly up and over the front of your leg, the top leg. And then maybe bring your right fingertips to the floor. Move that right thigh down, but not the hip. So the opening is in the hip socket. And then inhale, release. Feet parallel, inhale, reach your arms up. Now keep the front of the body lengthening, lifting as you lower the outer hips. Lower the sitting bones, then the outer hips, sitting bones, outer hips, outer hips. Keep stretching long, deep breaths. Inhale to come up. Exhale and push the hands out. Inhale, sweep your arms up. And exhale, press your hands out, open the heart. Really affirming who you are. Exhale. It's really about standing in your own light. It's not this egotistical kind of affirming like, this is who I am and I need to be who I am. It's really almost a soft opening. Again, it's just following a calling. Like when I went to India, I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't trying to prove a point. I was just following a calling. And exhale. Good. And again, your expression might be different than mine. So I'm doing the poses, but there's nothing that says that you have to do the poses exactly the way that I'm doing. The alignment will apply the alignment, but what the pose will look like will be very different, or might be very different. And respect that. Respect that that's your own expression of the pose. Apply the principles. Apply the principles are the connection to your knowledge. And then the expression, what it will look like on the outside, will be different, okay? So now take your block and once again sit in Virasana, and we'll do a few variations of Virasana, so find a very good Virasana where you're, one that you can maintain for a little while. What I like to do in Virasana is if my knees are, so first of all, you don't want to feel anything in your knees, like in the joint. Make sure there's no pulling or tightness or anything. If there's tightness in the front of the ankles, that's potentially the front line of your legs, the front line that is tight. So this is really good for that. And you might have to kind of come in and out of the pose just to respect that, that limitation and not overstretch too quickly. But what I like to do is, so once you find your alignment, like we established at the beginning of the practice, go in the back of the knees, and you're going to just kind of press the outside of so the calf muscle separates into two, inside and outside muscle. So you're going to split the calf muscle in two as you slide your hands down towards the heels. Now I've had knee surgery, so that really helps me a lot to find that comfort. And then I just lift the front line, just the knees. So I'm taking the skin out from underneath the knees a little bit. And you feel it's kind of slippery, like you can slide the skin on the knee. So you just lift that. Good, so lengthen your spine. Lift and lengthen. Bring your hands behind so you can stay up here. Bring your hands behind. The next couple things we're going to do are going to be kind of in different stages. So if we go to a place where it's like your body's like, no, this is not who I am, then feel free to come to the pose that we did just before. So hands behind, fingers out to the sides, lift and lengthen the sides of your body and your spine, shoulders back. Now, don't drop the head. When the front of the body starts to get to its limit, the head will want to drop. Because remember, that line goes behind the head. So to cut the front of the body some slack, because it's overstretching, the tendency will tend to be to drop the head so that we have more slack and we feel like we're opening. But we're actually not opening the front of the body, we're just opening the front of the neck, the throat, and that will, that can create some compromise in the cervical spine, the neck bones in your spine. So from here, let's lift the buttocks and scoop the buttocks under. So you're sitting more on your tailbone, the back of towards your sacrum. And then now you can either stay here or come down onto your forearms. Now I'm on a 3-inch block. If you're on a bigger block, then elbows might not be possible for you here. And this is quite a deep opening for the front of my body. I'm keeping my chin to my chest, and I draw the tailbone forward and lift the chest up towards my throat. Now, if your chest is facing the ceiling, parallel to the ceiling, then you can slide the back of your neck long, chin towards your throat, and then take your head back. Okay? That's a sign that when the chest is facing the ceiling, it's a sign that that the front line is long enough. And that way, when you take your head back, you're not going to be crushing the vertebrae. You're not shortening your spine. The spine is already long. And then from here, you keep your head down if your head's down. Chin to chest was an option. Keep your head down, and you come back up by pressing into your hands and lifting symmetrically as possible. Lift your heart first. Keep your head heavy. And then head comes up last. And then just sit tall, finding your breath. Now, you can always do that pose without the block if the front line of your legs and your knees are fine with that. You can do it sitting on the floor, okay? So, or on a blanket if the block is too much, like go down incrementally. All right, so now you'll lie down on your belly. Lie down on the belly. Press the top of your feet down. And here we're going to interlace the fingers behind the back. So first, I usually like to lift the belly and just pull my belly forward. So that way you're kind of pulling the front line forward, almost like the tissues of your belly forward. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Bring your forehead to the floor. Breathe into the back of your body. And keeping your feet down, feet together, feet down. Inhale and lift your chest up, stretch your arms back. Keep the spine long, tailbone reaching down. Press the back of your head towards the back ceiling. And come back down. Release your hands. And now we'll lift the legs as well. Interlace your fingers, change the lace of your fingers so you're clasping the other way. So palms together, clasp the hands, other little finger outside. And as you inhale, keep your feet down for the first part. Inhale, lift your belly, chest, arms. Press the back of your head towards the ceiling behind you. And then lift your legs up. Try to get more length through your spine. Lengthen the spine. So all that core work that we did, we're kind of integrating the core work here to help lengthen the spine. Deep breaths. And come back down. Good. Now, lie on your back. Lie on your back, elbows bent, feet parallel. Lengthen the side body to tuck your shoulder blades under the upper back. Make sure you're not tucking your shoulders under the lower back. And then pressing your feet down, inhale, lift your hips up. So Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, hug your inner thighs in. Move the inner thighs down and then reach your tailbone forward to lift the outer hips. Soften your gaze and then come back down. Inhale again, lift up. This time press heavy onto your right foot. Keep hugging your midline and bring your left ankle to cross the right like a figure four, like we did standing. Engage the muscles of your legs. Lift all the way up into the heart, all the way up into the head. Press your head down, shoulders down, elbows down. Scoop up the heart and press down into your feet. Change sides. Keep the lift of your hips. Take your right ankle on top. Hug the legs in. Scoop the tailbone forward, and then as you scoop the tailbone forward, inhale and lift all the way up into the heart. All the way up into the upper palate. Press the back of your head down, shoulders down. Keep scooping up the heart as you reach out through your legs. So this deep courage here. Be bold. Open the front of your body from what you know already about yourself. Become yourself. Put it into action. Bring your foot back down. Stay in the center. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale and come down. Hands to your belly. Oh my goodness. Breathe. Let the back of your body soften. Bring one hand to the center of your chest. Feel the heart beating. I always feel better when I am able to take a teaching that I've learned that really resonates with me and put it into action in my life. And often what happens, it's not even like putting into action, it realizes itself in my life. It appears. Just like me going to India, I had wanted to do that for a long time, but then I got this calling, this inner calling to go. And I just followed that calling, and it just felt so natural. And that's what feels so good about it is it's not when we try to force ourselves to do something, but when it just comes naturally. So I would say that is the ultimate goal, is for these teachings to be integrated into such a way in our life that eventually they just feel like second nature. But like anything else, we have to practice, right? So usually a habit only becomes a habit when we practice it. Good. Take your right knee to your chest and press your right thigh into your hands and straighten your leg. So I just noticed that my neighbors are doing construction, and they have decided that now is a great time to start. So you might hear some noises, and we'll just accept that. Good, and then release, and then take your left leg, keep the knee bent and press your thigh into your hands, but ground the thigh bone into its socket. And then maintaining that grounding, that rooting of the thigh bone, extend your leg up. So again, we root into our roots, our knowledge. Our knowledge, which is ever expanding and growing. So the way that we'll express ourselves now based on what we know will be very different later on as our knowledge accumulates, and as we continue to practice, the expression of who we are becomes more full, more complete. And then release. Stretch your left leg out and bring your right knee in and twist. Take your leg over to the left. Scoot your left hip underneath, open your right arm, and then holding the outside of your leg, stretch your right leg away from you. So I have the wall close to me here, so I can use the wall, but you can also hold the outside of your foot, but move your right hip away from you. Open your chest like we practiced in our practice today. And then bend your knee and inhale back to center. Hips to the left and straighten your right leg. Bring your left knee in and take it over to the right. Hold the outside of your leg. Move your left hip away from, so the top hip moves away from the belly. The spine lengthens and straighten your left leg, either holding the outer leg or holding the outer foot, big toe. Here it's really important, keep that left hip extending away from the chest and turn the chest open to the left. Deep breaths. Bend your knee, inhale, come back to center. Take the pelvis in the center and then hug your knees into your chest for a moment, just to stretch the back line, kind of drawing back into our infinite potential. And then straighten your legs for Shavasana. Rest in Shavasana for a little while. Allow the front and the back of the body to balance out so that you settle into yourself, settle into your higher self, the knowing of your infinite potential, and allowing that infinite potential to manifest or unfold slowly through your breath, in your thoughts. And in your personality and who you are. Again, we're not trying to be something that we're not. We're remembering who we are, and we're remembering what's important to us, what we hold as what aspects we believe are like our most valuable qualities, and we're allowing those valuable qualities to come to the surface. And we're finding practices, yoga being one of those practices, that we use to bring those qualities to the surface so that we become who we know we are already inside. Feel free to stay longer in Shavasana. When you're ready, roll to your right side and come up to sitting. Take your time. And with hands together in front of your heart, drawing from the potential you know is who you are, lift your heart courageously towards the thumbs, towards the forefront of who you are. And let's close the practice with one sound of Om. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for being who you are. For when you are who you are, it allows everybody to be who they are. I wish you a beautiful day. Breathe and be well. Namaste.